everyone, and welcome to Motor House with me, Mr. Bob, and welcome to my coverage of this year's iconic auctioneers sale here at the NEC as part of the Practical Classic Car and Restoration Show. I'm going to be taking a look out there at some of the really tasty classic cars up for auction today, picking out my favourites and taking a guess at what they're going to sell for. Stick around because there's some brilliant machinery and I'd love to know your thoughts. So let's get out there, let's have a look at the cars. Oh my days, does it get much more 80s excess than the car I'm stood in front of right now. This is a 911 Flachbau, which means flat nose. This car, it's kind of writing checks with its appearance that the performance doesn't match up to. It's badged a turbo on the back. This actually started out life as a 911 SC convertible. Nothing wrong with that at all. But this was a very kind of, I'll say very common, it was not uncommon in period to have this motorsport flat nose style conversion added to the car. It's got the big kind of turbo strakes on the side. It's sending all the right aesthetics. And honestly, I don't mind if it's still an SC because this is just 80s incarnate. Now this has an auction estimate of 34 to 40,000 pounds. So there's a lot of 911s you could buy for that kind of money, but if you want proper bedroom wall 80s pin-up looks, this delivers. But what did it go for on the day? Well, on the day, this 911 SC Flachbau sold for £51,750. Now, I have an apology to make. I didn't realise when I was looking around this car that yes, it did start out life as an SC, but in actual fact, this car was converted with a genuine 3.3 turbo engine. So this Flachbau convertible that started out life as an SC has actually got the grunt to match the looks. And for me, £51,750, that actually seems a really good buy, considering that a genuine 930 turbo is twice the price, and a Flachbau turbo, well, crazy money. So actually on the day, I think that was a cracking buy. Well done whoever recognised what that car was. Oh, 80s bedroom wall vibes, even still. Good grief, look at this. We've got an 85 Lamborghini Jalpa. This was the small Lamborghini, a bit like the Urraco that I covered a month or so ago. Very similar car. But wow, has this got some mega presents. What does it say on the windscreen sticker? We've got 54,629 kilometres, so low mileage. This has an auction estimate of 65 to 70,000 pounds, which on the face of it, for any kind of Italian 80s exotic like this, seems a really good deal. On the day, this Lamborghini Jalpa fetched,
sold for an undisclosed sum. However, we can do our usual bit of detective work, go back on the live auction footage and see what happened. And in this case, it was bid to £54,000. So with buyer's fees, that would have been £62,100. And that shows, as I saw at Race Retro, that these small baby Lambos like the Jalpa, like the Silhouettes, tend to fetch roughly half of what something like a Pantera would fetch. Great looking car. Would love to have taken this one home with me.
1981 Lotus Esprit Turbo Essex, and I think this is the one I want to take home the most. Lotus Esprit, of course, legendary car, true icon of the late 70s and 80s, this incredible Giugiaro wedge type styling. Any Esprit is a wow factor car, but this even more so. To commemorate their F1 success, there was a limited numbered production run of Essex Esprit Turbos to commemorate their main sponsor. And the Essex cars are in this absolutely incredible colourway of this deep, flaky metallic blue with red and silver stripes, and it's difficult to tell in photos, but the silver is like a mirror. It looks incredible. red interior, and also this one, which is so period. It has an overhead Panasonic roof console with a tape deck and sliders. It's just, it's so 80s. I'm a bit in love, you can probably tell. Anyway, enough of my blathering. 407 miles on the odometer, auction estimate of 90 to 110,000 pounds. Big money, but if that mileage is correct, this might be the lowest mileage one in the world. Anyway, on the day, this Lotus Esprit Turbo Essex sold for
no sale. Now, checking back the auction footage, this got bid up to £78,000 and stalled. Now, this is a real surprise to me because currently advertised there are higher mileage Essex Turbos advertised for well into six figures. So I do not blame the buyer for not accepting that high bid. I think that's well shy of what a unique car like this is worth on the open market.
The DeLorean DMC12, one of the most 80s cars that has ever been made, styled by Giugiaro, just like that Lotus Esprit we've looked at. Now, these are cars where the value of them in recent years has skyrocketed. At one point, you could pick these up for under £10,000 as an import. Those days have long gone, and wow, look at the drama of this. Now, if you'd like to know what it's like to ride in a DeLorean DMC12, check out the link in the description, and you'll see a playlist to car show reviews where at the Really Retro show, I got a ride in one of these and it was a childhood dream come true. So this is a 1981 car. Apparently this has been restored. The bodywork looks really good on this. It's very specialised to look after this brushed stainless steel exterior, so this looks great. It's a manual car, which is the one you want. It's an 81, an early car. People who really know about DeLoreans will know because it's got the external fuel filler flap here, which they deleted later on. Estimate on this is 50 to 60,000 pounds. I think it probably will do that. But what did it do? On the day, this DeLorean DMC12 sold for
£54,000, which I think is about right. I've seen sales ads for low mileage DMC12s asking six figures, but honestly, I think £54,000 seems about right. For my money, I would rather have the Esprit because remember, it's still a Lotus designed car. It's still styled by Giugiaro. You have to be really in love with the DeLorean image and those gull wings to want to pay that kind of money. But hey, it is the definition of an iconic car, isn't it? You think of the 80s, you think of a DMC12, and if that's what you want, £54,000 is what you're going to have to spend.
the legend. Does it actually need an introduction? The original Audi UR Quattro, which I'm sure some native German speakers will correct me here, but UR means original, the first. And this is where the legend of Quattro, the four-wheel drive system, began. I've got to say, Adam behind the camera, we walked up to this car a minute ago and both of us, gosh, it's still got such presence. What a stunning car. An 89 10-valve Quattro this, and every way I look at it, this is a stunning looking car. These wonderful boxy blister arches on here. According to the window sticker, 150,000 miles on the clock of this Quattro. However, loads of service history, loads of info. Looks like it's really been well used, but well kept and maintained as well. The kind of car I like to buy. I'd like to buy this one as well. However, it's not going to happen. Auction estimate, according to the windscreen sticker, is 28 to 32,000 pounds. On the day, this 80s icon sold for
£27,750. Now, that seems well below many advertised classified prices for similar cars, but maybe this is just where the market's at. That still seems like a decent sum of money for an Audi Quattro to me, but let me know what you think. Bargain, or is that about right?
ooh, Ford Sierra RS500. This the undisputed daddy of all Sierras. RS500, because only 500 were made. These were all built to be homologation special cars for motorsport. Now, if you want a deep dive into what makes an RS500 special, be sure to check out my coverage of today's 2026 Practical Classics show, where I went and chatted with the RS500 Owners Club. It's a great history. Back to this car. This one, according to the windscreen sticker, is number 54 of 500. Having a look around the car, it looks to be in extremely good shape, very nicely presented. 35,790 miles from new. Windscreen sticker estimate on this is 80 to 100. Now, I'm going to put my neck on the block and say that I think this is going to fetch more than that. I've seen some wild figures for RS500s in the last year, but let's find out. On the day, this Sierra RS500 fetched
£76,500, below bottom estimate, and I've got to say, that's one of the big surprises for me, because I've seen RS500s regularly sell for six figures, some of them many multiple times that. So although it's a lot of money for a Sierra, that seems quite a buy for someone in the market for an RS500.
One of the most popular cars I've ever featured on Motorhouse is the Lotus Carlton, and for a very good reason. It was a truly infamous car that even sparked debate in the Houses of Commons, because here was a four-door car that was as fast as supercars of the day. Now, there's probably people at home going, Bob, there's no way that can be a Lotus Carlton because it's silver. They were all in a dark metallic green. Well, this one is ex-Sultan of Brunei, and as people who will know about the Sultan of Brunei's collection will know, is he had cars in very unique trim specifications and colours that were not available to the general public. Now, with this being out in Brunei, you can see the bodywork is scorched from the heat. It's in poor shape. However, the auction estimate on this is £50,000 to £60,000. And honestly, I would not be surprised if it does that, because this restored will really be the crown jewel of someone's collection. On the day, this Lotus Carlton fetched
£42,750, so a fair bit below estimate, but certainly looking around this car, it was going to need a full restoration, which is not going to be cheap. Having said that, you would have a very, very unique car in that colourway and with that provenance. I hope this gets restored. And hey, if you did buy that car, please drop me a line, because I'd love to see what this looks like when it's restored.
a Lancia Beta Montecarlo Spyder. Not gonna lie, I don't know an enormous amount about Lancias, because Lancias of this generation sadly gave Lancia, in the UK at least, its terrible reputation for rusting away, unreliability, and so as a result they're very, very rare cars now. But looking at it for what it is, we've got a mid-engined little baby Italian car with all of the looks and all of the pedigree of some of the bigger cars out there, a right-hand drive car, and has astonishingly done 99,000 miles from new. Where are you going to find another? Well, here's one, and if you want it, windscreen estimate is £20,000 to £25,000. On the day, this Lancia fetched...
Did not sell. It is currently listed on the Iconic Auctioneer's website as a buy it now for £21,500.
The Camel Trophy is an off-road challenge which has become legendary, and it's something that really showcased the off-road capabilities of, I'm going to say it, Land Rover of old. How I wish Land Rover would do something like that again. This is a Discovery One. It looks like a Camel Trophy vehicle. This didn't actually go on the challenge, but it's very collectible nonetheless, because this was a factory Land Rover Special Vehicles Special Edition to commemorate the Camel Trophy. I think it looks great, and of course with it being based on a TDI Discovery One, very easy car to run, still has fantastic off-road ability. Love this. Let's have a look. What's it say on the screen? 80,000 miles from new. Auction estimate is 12 to 15. I think that's about right. On the day, this sold for
£12,375. So bottom end of the estimate, But I'm sure that if, like me, you are used to being able to pick up early discoveries for £1,000, £2,000 all day long, well, I think those days are over. As I've said before, Discovery One is my top tip for an appreciating classic at the moment. If you get the opportunity to buy a nice, clean, original Discovery One, buy them while you can.
When is a Lotus Elise not a Lotus Elise? Answer, when it's one of these. This is a Vauxhall VX220, or to be more specific in this case, a VX220 Turbo. Now you might be going, Bob, it says Vauxhall, it's not a Lotus. Well, underneath this much more angular, aggressive bodywork, this is based on a Lotus Elise underneath, which means you have all of the wonderful advantages of the Series 1 Elise, the bonded chassis on this, the incredible handling, the tiny lightweight. But I think these offer a really nice alternative because these have got Vauxhall drivetrains in. So you've got the turbocharged Vauxhall engine in this. Let's have a look at the sticker on this. Low mileage example here, 11,600 miles. It's a 2005 car. Windscreen estimate on this is 18 to 22, which I think sounds like quite a good deal. On the day, this VX220 Turbo fetched
£20,230.
Now, perhaps surprisingly, rare as a VX220 is, there's another one in the sale, but even rarer, this is a VXR220. According to the windscreen sticker, number 58 of just 65. And even more remarkable than that, this has only had 3,000 miles put on the clock since new. Now, comparing to the car behind us, everything we've said holds. This is estimated at £28,000 to £34,000. On the day, this sold for
£28,125.
So, out of nowhere, it appears that there are 3 of these rare Vauxhall VX220s in this auction. But this one might be one if you actually intend to really drive the pants off it and put some miles on, because by the looks of the scrapes and the marks on this car and the mileage, someone's already done that. This one, according to the window sticker, has done 118,000 miles, so someone's really enjoyed this car. I approve. And compared to the auction estimates on the lower mileage cars, this one's much more affordable. Window sticker estimate on this is £8,000 to £10,000. On the day, this VX220 sold for
£9,000. Wow, that is quite a variation in price for those 3 VX220s. Which one would you have bought? Me personally, I'd have bought the one for £9,000. I prefer to drive my cars, I'm not a collector, so the affordable car for £9,000 for me would give an awful lot of money in the bank to upgrade it and make it the car that I'd want. But hey, which one would you have bought? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so final thoughts. So we were very short of time on the day, but if you want to see my walk around with Oscar's garage, I have put a link in the description where I give my thoughts on some of the other cars on the day. But from this cross section of cars and also having a look at the cars that sold on the day, I think sales prices were soft that day. Everything to me seemed pretty much 20% below where I'd expect to see it. Is this an indication of where the classic car market is at the moment? Is this an indication of everyone's fears financially? Or is this just what these cars are worth? Because remember, the great thing about an auction is if you want to know what a car is worth on that day, put it to auction and this gives you an answer.
If you'd like to see more videos like this, please do me a big favour. Like, share to your friends, and most of all, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out enormously and helps me make more content like this for you. From me, Mr. Bob, and from the Birmingham NEC, it's goodbye, and goodbye from another episode of Motor House.